Bienvenue à Paris. I'm very honored to host this talk on our exhibition French collection. Arik Levy is a major contemporary artist, and I wanted you to hear from him during this beautiful art week in Paris. So enjoy, and after the presentation you'll be able to ask questions and have a glass of wine all together.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. It's not evident to get from somewhere to somewhere in Paris today. I decided to show my work through my website because then everything is concentrated. We can jump from one place to the other. But we can start with one question. Anyone, any question about anything. No question? Question.
What is driving you?
My pacemaker. It's called the uncontrolled muscles, which creativity is part of it, at least in my world. So heart, beat, you cannot stop. You can stop for a little bit, but not for long. You cannot stop breathing, same issue. So heartbeat, breathing, sexuality, everything that Mother Nature wants us to do to create another baby. That's all. We are a gateway into the future. The creative process comes from many different places, some of which I control, some of which I don't, because the true creativity is an uncontrolled muscle, like breathing, like heartbeats. You cannot control it, or you can control it for very little time, but then you die if you don't let go. So being in between is what interests me. It's not the balance or the disorder, it's what actually happens in between. And to deal with it on a daily basis, with the creativity it's trial and error and testing all the time, right? I test me and myself. I test myself and the environment. I test the work that I do, how it interacts with others, with the environment, with nature, with the architecture, with everything which is around us. My studio is in the house, and the house is in the studio. So it's constantly being that relationship, which is the dialogue, from the moment I open my eyes, or even before, till the day after. Emotional depth, how to infuse it, it's infused naturally. It starts from there. It's not an on-off mechanism. Like now I put more emotion, now I put more sharpness. Now it's not the way it happens to me personally. Emotions, I'm super sensitive. I'm like a radar. Sometimes too much. It affects me in many different ways. Some of which I know, some of which I only discover right after. So it's emotions are the keynote that we have for everything we do. Even if we want to believe that technology or intellect or writing and so, writing not as text, but dictating movement, for example, to a robot, takes away its emotion. So there is a phase in the work, there's a part of the path I'm walking with every work, which is creating its own self. So I would not say it's artificial intelligence. I would say it's simply emotional intelligence. It's the same because I'm the same person. I'm not the personal and the work. I'm the personal and the work. One reason I cannot do a chronological book about my work is because I work on subjects. I don't work on objects. Of itself doesn't really interest me. It's only a jumping board, a bridge for people to communicate with me and with the object and vice versa, but also to communicate with themselves. So I consider that, I don't want to say I'm a doctor, but I'm a non-trained doctor or psychotherapist. This is what I do best. and the work do that with me.
Strange. Okay, so let's practice this. Close your eyes. Everybody, including the barman. Okay, close your eyes. It's really important. Let the silence come in. Now it's the first time you really hear my voice. You can feel how the chair feels to your body. Before you were just sitting in it. You can feel how your hip bones are set, right? You can feel how your shoulder are set on the backrest. You can feel the impact of your feet on the ground and the impact of the ground on your feet, or even the feet of the chair with your personal weight. It's also the first moment you can feel the person next to you. Before you were just looking at me. But how important it is to feel before we see. Right? So now you can open your eyes. It happens the same way with the artwork. You must and can feel it before you see it. We are invaded with images all the time. We open our eyes, there's images we're in the street, there's billboards and advertising and people and cars and whatever, and then we open the phone again, and etc., etc. And the whole day, there is an invasion of images. This takes away our ability to, it's diluting our ability to be as sensitive as we can, because we all are an amazing radar. And once you learn how to use this skill that you have, then you can feel before you see. And the artwork is a jumping board through its name, through its appearance, through its volume, through its material. You can close your eyes and have the same form in different materials, and you can feel what is stone, what is metal, what is pasta, what is, whatever it is. This is something we have, and this is something I work with. This is something that guides me in the work. Good. This film was made by an organization that's called Avant-D'Art. They are from Turkey. They are doing an amazing work. They are supporting all form of arts and music and dance and fine arts and so on. So it was quite a pleasure to have this conversation with them. It was during the setting up of my exhibition in Bodrum this summer. It was from July to August, and it's called The Beauty of the Other. And most of the names of the works and the exhibition are very meaningful in the context. It's not an abstracted thing. It's something which is projecting and connecting to the work and to what I want to say at that moment. And The Beauty of the Other talks about how much we can appreciate the other one in front of us, next to us, behind us, and so on, without a judgment, because we all embed some kind of beauty into us, same as the work. So this is, there were 3 different spaces in this exhibition, and these are new works in bronze, which are actually, you can see almost the process. I first make my models in wood, and then this specific one is covered with plaster and stays like this. That will be the final artwork. And this specific one has been casted in bronze. So each one of them has a different projection of energy, such as this one. These are the micro rock formation, like the sculpture we see here. These are all based on the idea of balance, the notion of balance and imbalance, obviously. When you see, like the object in the center, when the brain analyzes much faster than that we intellectualize the thought or the feeling we have, right? So the brain sees that can't stand because it's not in balance, right? It's off balance. And it's the way I do them. I put them in balance, and then before I glue them together, I take it out of balance so it won't be able to stand. The brain understands that it's not in balance, and it asks the question, if something that's not supposed to stand, do I stand? That's the question. You can be in front of this piece with a mirror polished stainless steel. There are places of it where you will not see yourself. But we have learned all our life as a code, if you're in front of a mirror, you see yourself. But if you don't see yourself, are you here? Are you at the same place? This is what the work is doing. So these are people born today, showing us things in a different way. And it's not only the balance of the object. The balance on the object is only a jumping board, a bridge, to what, as I mentioned before in the video, to what we can feel. This could be a financial balance, it could be an ecological balance, it could be a personal balance, a psychological balance, a physical, every kind of balance has this same dichotomy of is it or is it not in balance, because saying balance is also saying imbalance. And we speak like this. It's part of our code, speaking code. I feel so balanced, right? We say this, so I was so imbalanced. Something like this. So here is the abstract structure, which are pieces made. It's only the structure of these rocks, and the rocks are coming from, I call them rocks, but they're not rocks, right? So when I have it at home, when I tell you, you ask, what is it? I say, oh, this is a rock sculpture. When I just said this, you immediately have another uncontrolled muscle which ignites the notion of memory and personal and collective souvenirs, and you start seeing rocks. It doesn't matter. If you're in the diamond business, you see diamonds. If you are in geology, then you see whatever the mountains, and you can think that this is maybe a 5 billion year old, etc., etc., etc. So when you have it at home, it brings nature into your environment, right? So the sculpture changes the center of gravity of your space and changes your ability, or gives you the ability to relate to your space and to your place as a different place. And how wonderful it is. It's like traveling without physically moving, okay? It's the dream of technology, right? Instead of Air France will be a key, and then you exist somewhere else. Great, I'm there. So these rocks, when I put them outdoor, by juxtaposition, we see that they are not rocks because the other rocks are rocks. So if this is a rock that refers to nature, which nature is coming from? Man-made nature, exterior nature, imaginary nature, etc. So negative, positive, a lot of the work is based on what is there and what is not there. Also these works, the outline of this specific works is like typography. You know that letters are not seen or written or read because of the letter, the black letter itself. It's read because of the space around it. And in typography, the whole art of typography is not only to draw the letter, but to find what is the distance between each one of them, that the word seem together as being one word, because L-O-V-E means nothing unless you call it a word, right? L is L, O is O, etc., etc. So this is important to understand. We go here, in my world. Invisible Thoughts is an exhibition that me and Zoe here, my wife, my darling, the mother of my beautiful girls, my life associated, my filmmaker, my photographer. What else? Voilà. And not only she's the more beautiful artist at home, she's also the more talented one, because her work is what you see here, and she might be wanting to tell you something later. So we were both together invited to, so she sculpting wood, painting and sculpting, and so all this is engraved, it's not just drawn. We were together invited to do an exhibition at the Barbier Muller Museum. I'm going to start with this. And the Barbier-Muller Museum is, the Barbier-Muller collection is the world's biggest private collection of African and Oceanic art, also antiquity and so on, but mostly known for the African art, very extraordinary pieces collected by the Joseph Barbier-Muller. This is going 100 years back and so on. And they asked us to do an exhibition. So it's a trio. It's a relationship between Zoe and myself, between Zoe and the collection, me and the collection, and or the collection with us. So what we have done is this ensemble of juxtapositions of pieces, Zoe's pieces and my pieces and the pieces from the collection itself. I'll show you here. There were different locations where you could see, especially like this picture, where there is a huge panel screen by Zoe and a sculpture, and this is an African sculpture and so on, and this is a Indonesian warrior shield. The original is made out of goat skin and wood and weighs about 2 kilos, but I took that one, I scanned it, and I'll show you what I did, and reproduced it in bronze. So what happened now is a shield that you can run with it to protect yourself is not a shield anymore because it weighs 80 kilo, and you can't run with it. Also, when it arrived to the museum director called me and said, Arik, there's a big problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, the shield is upside down. You made a mistake. I said, no, you made a mistake. If you are making war, then you're walking on your head, right? So that is the message within this piece. Here you can see more interpretation of this juxtaposition. This lady here is giving birth right on the sculpture. And here starts to appear, these pieces are a part that were African masks that were scanned, and we worked on them. And then after, we printed them in 3D and made a bronze reproduction. And you will see here, these are the new masks, all done in bronze. So if you take, it's another social code. So if you take an African mask made out of wood, you look at it, you don't have to be an expert to say, oh, African, right? But if you see it in the Antiquity Museum, in the Roman collection, because it's made now in bronze and it has the verdigris, it oxidized like all Roman bronze objects, you say, wow, how did they do that? Oh, this is maybe Medusa, right? This sculpture that we know, but not at all. So just by the fact that I displaced the object from its normal place to another place, like a thought, like a feeling, like a direction, like anything we can think of, it becomes something else. And on it, you could see these minerals growing, and it becomes to change, becomes something else. Because when mineral grows, it means that you're passing for petrification is something that happens after 5 million years, for example, right? So it gets a second life. This is another one. Here you can see this is the original. This is the bronze one. Okay. There's another thing that happens. You know, the African most of African art are not older than 50 years. It's not like we used to see in different cultures that we are acquainted to, that pieces are coming from 200 years, 300 years, 1,000 years, and so on. It's only 50 years, 60 years, 40 years, 70 years, right? So when something is made out of wood, is subject to burn, to be eaten by termites, to disappear, to break. When something is made out of bronze, it's eternal. It's the Bronze Age. It brings another aspect of things. And in the middle, there's minerals growing again. This is the original here, made out of goat skin, and this was worn on the head. And the dancers, there was this raffia thing, and they were dancing with it. If you put this one on your head, you probably die. This is Blickachsen. Blickachsen is a biannual in Germany. This was last year. And these two pieces here, it's called the Rock Gate. So now, again, just the word, rock, nature, creating, machines, building, everything which is to do with what we do with the rock, from palaces to tombstones, right? Gate, Gate, gates, gates, everything. What's the code? Hello, I'm at the gate. What is the code, right? We're doing it every evening, more or less, if we change doors. So a gate is something we walk through. A gate is a passage, rites of passage. I'm willing to go through the gate. I'm accepting to have happen to me everything that will maybe happen through the gate. Stargate, everything we can remember from that, and every other gates. And you should have seen the people. So one is reflective. Once you're in the middle, you see hundreds of yourself. So you multiply that. Or you see something that you've never seen before. The other one is in core 10 still. So it has a completely different appearance. The stainless steel disappear, this appear. And then you see the gate through a gate, and we were filming, taking pictures, and this bird just came in walking through the gate, which was great. Then you see, this is in Germany, Bad Homburg, next to Frankfurt. It can't be more German than this, right? And then there's a Philippine or a Thai temple there behind, which is reflecting into it. So again, you don't know where you are. And this was the environment. People were taking pictures of themselves and of the other through the gate. They could have done the same picture without the gate, because even the picture, maybe they don't even see the gate, they just see through. So seeing through is such an idea that motivates humanity since ever. You know, there's two people, they were standing in Australia, being on the beach, and tell each other, hey, shall we go through the sea and get there? They didn't know where, but there, and they have this idea of going through. This was what happened to them. And here we can see a sculpture of Thomas Schutter, which was about 200 meters away, reflecting into the gate. And obviously when you're on the other side, on this side of the gate, you see Thomas Schutter in a place that he is not, and you see it, and you can become Thomas Schutter if you go in between. This was the most used place in the Biennale. You see the grass was gone very fast, because everybody went off the roads, off the trails of visit, and went through the gate, which was a great compliment for me, because it shows like people want to touch. This is the best that can happen. This is what I hope for. Also, you touch, you buy, you don't have a choice. But it's a good thing. So you see this lady here, you can't see her in the picture, but she's there. So she exists without existing. Who knows where she is today? Questions?
Where you get material?
Material? I buy them. Very easy. You pay, you get.
But you find a special glass or
yeah,
metal?
So it's a good question, and I answer in a funny way. But what is important is not the material. What is important is what you do with it. So glass you can buy, but this specific glass you have to make. You have to make it into its color. You have to make it into its form. You have to make it into what it is. Glass is one amazing material that is sand, basically. Glass is sand. Sand is melted at 1,200 degrees, becomes liquid. Then you blow it or cast it or do whatever you want to do, like the blue goes there. This is cast glass, right? And it takes the form, and a few seconds after, it's very hot, but it has a new form and it's completely rigid somehow. So it's quite magical. But then it has to go to an oven, because glass is extremely sensitive. If you have a form like this and you touch it here, and it makes a little indent, you keep on blowing it, you can blow it into a mold, it will always have this indent. Glass have memory. So the Venetian glasses that has this wave on it, the champagne flute, are being touched at the beginning and blown, and it doesn't matter how big it is, it's always going to have that kind of thing. So when you learn about the material, you start to deal with it and modify it in a different way. And so if we look at this piece there, which I call glass reflection, so the one in the left is glass. I buy the pot of melted glass. It's about 600 kilos. I cool it in a very radical way. The glass doesn't break, it rips. So it's in the border between being completely solid or being a bit liquid, like gelatin a little bit. It never breaks, it sort of rips, right? It's like when you eat panna cotta, for example. It has this No, panna cotta is good. And so I pick up the pieces I like most, and I just clean them and use them as they are. The bronze piece next to it is the identical copy of the glass one, only that you don't see it immediately, because we are so used to see identical is identical. You have identical twins, and you have twins which are not identical. So this is much alike, different screen. So transparency becomes reflection. Reflection becomes transparency. And actually, when you look for the transparency in the glass one, you can't really see it because it has internal deflection. So it becomes a reflection of the reflection inside in an optic way. So one affects the other, even though one comes from the other, they are completely the same. If I take the bronze one, put it downstairs at the courtyard when you enter, and when you see it, you say, what is doing here? Must be art. And then you go up and you see that, and you say, hold on, that looks a little bit like that thing, right? And because the glass one is a broken glass, then comes again all the memory and souvenir of everything which was broken that you have seen, a car windshield or a glass that broke at home or something else. It's all coming together to that sensation. And what is broken, shattered, is something you can put together or was an integrity before.
Vous parlez beaucoup d'émotions et tout, mais du coup, c'est quoi votre matériau préféré qui va justement le plus retranscrire les émotions, les sensations? Parce que moi, j'avais découvert votre travail à Bruxelles, en face de l'Atomium, il y avait une expo, enfin, c'est un magnifique travail. Et du coup, tout ce qui va être, par exemple, c'est ça, exactement, j'ai adoré. C'était il y a plus de 5 ans en plus, je crois, quand je l'ai découvert en tout cas, moi. Et,
il y a 10 ans.
Ouais, exactement, tout à fait. Et du coup, est-ce que vous interdisez par exemple des matériaux par rapport, je sais pas, si on va prendre la céramique, ce genre de choses qui sont plutôt froids, ou vous dites, vous traitez tout et vous pouvez vraiment faire transparaître de l'émotion avec n'importe quel matériau en fait?
Je traite tout parce que les buts, c'est l'émotion ou l'intelligence ou l'idée que je vais véhiculer à travers la pièce, la matière comme on le connaît. Si on banalise, quand on dit métal, métal, il y a une panoplie infinie de qualités de métal et chacune, par exemple, l'inox, cela, on dit inox. Il y a beaucoup de types d'inox. Cet inox, elle est faite de 316L. Et 316L, c'est le seul métal qui va dans l'eau salée dans la mer. Et ça, c'est la matière avec laquelle on construit des yachts, des navires ou des éléments qui vont dans la mer. Parce que c'est un alliage qui est très résistant. Mais ce qui est spécial là-dedans, c'est que comme tu les polis, c'est le seul alliage dans la gamme d'inox. Il y a 314, il y a 304, il y a 300... C'est le seul qui a un reflet légèrement chaud, légèrement champagne, mais chaude, qui fait un effet différent, qui rend les choses émotionnelles et pas trop froid. Et ça, c'est à travers. En même temps, c'est le seul métal. Donc quelqu'un qui achète cette sculpture et les met dans son jardin, ça va durer 500 ans, ou 1500 ans, ou 400 ans, ou 3 millions d'années. Ça n'a pas de fin, parce que ça résiste tellement. Bronze va vivre différemment, mais il faut que la pièce porte la façon que la matière va s'altérer dans le temps et que ça continue à véhiculer le même idée. Donc cette sculpture sera très polie ou légèrement sale, ça sera la même sculpture. Donc l'idée et l'émotion sera la même dans ce sens-là. Ça, c'est l'Atomium. L'Atomium, c'est en Belgique, vous le savez, c'est un bâtiment qui est fait pour l'Expo en 1954, et extraordinaire. C'est énorme, les sphères, ils font 20 mètres de diamètre. Et j'étais invité de... Sorry, yeah. Uncontrolled muscle. It goes into. It's all because of you. all thanks to you. All thanks to you. So the Atomium was built for the Expo in 1954, and I was invited to. Now it's a museum, and now I was invited to have this installation exhibition for 6 months at the bottom of the Atomium, and the rock growth was the idea that was seemed to me. Most adapted, like a sparkle in between this atom, which is that are flying, and so it's called rock growth. So again, I'm super dyslexic, so words for me are very important, but also very difficult. I don't know how to write. I don't know grammar. I only remember mechanically how I write. So I can write blind, right? Because I know just the action. In 1992, I lost a finger in my left hand. So what it means to me, that I lost a letter in every word. So I had to learn again to write completely, right? So every time you learn again, you have now the other fingers are doing the work of the index and so on and so. But the rock growth is, so a rock that was put on the ground will germinate, so it will hit roots and grow. But rocks don't grow like vegetables. So I take what vegetables are doing, like what the plants are doing, and put it into minerals and have the minerals do what the plants are doing. So now the world is a little bit different, right? It's what we used to see is not, imagine the tree would have been completely mineral and then the rocks would be completely soft. So there will be no mountains somehow. This is a crater, which is a rock that has dried. And when it dries, you see only like a grain of a tree you don't know. A good example for this is a peach. When you take a peach, it's so soft and amorphic, and the skin is stretched over the meat of it. But when you eat it all the way to the end, you find this very intricate grain, which looks a little bit like a brain, right? Which is not indicated by the outer form. So the inside and the outside has this different appearance. Oh, we can look at that.
You come up originally with this kind of monolith, this rock with cut edges and cut corners, and why did you choose to use this as like a gimmick in your work? Why this shape specifically, refine it and try to do it in many different ways? Why this? What's the background story?
Very, very literally, I went to my workshop on Saturday, which is the best day because there's no one in the studio, and so you can be quiet. And I went to the workshop and I took a block of foam and I started working with it by subtraction, not by addition. Normally, you would work by addition. You take pieces of wood or clay or you build up your work. Here I was taking away, dealing with the idea of absence. So how much I can take away that the form becomes a new form that has nothing to do with its original, but still stand for itself. And funny enough, I've done hundreds, if not thousands of them, till I started to understand what makes this thing hold in space and be its own form. And there is an equation between the number of facets and that idea, which is between 25, 24, and 27. If it's 30, it starts to look like a diamond. There's too much cut. If it's 16, then it looks something is wrong. It doesn't have a sort of a balance. So it's quite an interesting thing because you could say, I can do it, right? Like many things of art, it's not the problem. The question is to do it and to be able to identify what is so special and unique. But this is only one part of the work. The other work that stands there, for example, the bronze piece, which is called solid liquid, there's nothing to do with the rock. But maybe it was a rock that is now melting, right? Or maybe it's something that is amorphic, that is now growing to become a mineral. And solid liquid is a state of mind, I guess, between solid and liquid. It's coming again all the time. It's called absence and presence, right? We also use this phase of transition. I've been just till now, and now I am. In many ways, professionally, emotionally, physically, psychologically. Yeah, so that's the answer. I'll show you this because The reason to see this is it's the other side of the art, very differently from painting. I also paint or photograph, but when you paint, you only need a wall, you need some paint, you need time, and you need brushes or not, right? But when you do a sculpture, you need trucks, you need welders, you need machines, you need cranes. It's a whole huge constellation of works and people and professions that come together, and are all extension of this one idea that we put in action. So this sculpture, this in the atomium, that is, I think it's about 14 tons, and it's 8 meter 20, and so on. It took 2 years to make. It has engineers worked on it for 3 months, and. So this huge amount of effort which is put into the piece here in the center. It's made out of parts which are welded, and then they are grinded till the welding disappears, and then they're polished till the grinding disappears. It becomes one fluid unit, an element, which is made out of 25, 24, 26, 27 pieces, but it seems as a whole. So it's an incredible amount of work and effort and intention and love and frustration and joy and teamwork. My team are all fantastic, and each one of them is part of the work in this way or another. And the craftsmen we work with all around the world, there are these people that when I go to the workshop, they do the polishing, for example. I know on the piece who polished it. I see who polished, and I said, this is not Jimmy. Who did it? Jimmy, malato, faccio Paolo, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I don't want Paolo, I want Jimmy. Jimmy, only Jimmy. So you can't take it. No, I don't take it. It stays here, and then you repolish it. And because Jimmy is the only one, his name is really Jimmy. It's a true story. Jimmy is the only one who understands my work. And a craftsman that do not understand the work he's working on is doing it like a bad robot, not even like a good robot. And you feel it, you see it. It's unbelievable. When I discover this, I discover how important these people are for me. Anyway, I believe that the world is about people, not about objects, not about watches, not about exhibitions, but it's only us who makes us come together and do things. So thank you to Kira and her organization that brought us together here Thank you to Artcurial to do all this, and thank you for coming. So now we know each other. I can speak forever, by the way, so I think I better stop. So now I can answer other questions if you want.
A question in relation to your design work also, because you spoke a lot about the artwork. I'm curious what your relationship to the design part is like, since the line can be very fine, but it's not the same thing in terms of production, in terms of who's going to work on it, and the amount that it's made, the materials that's going to be chosen. So yeah, just what
I'm schizophrenic. So my psychotherapist said, Arik, you're a perfect patient. I have you for about 25, 30 years. It's never going to solve it, the problem, right? So yes and no. The line is not fine. It's very thick. Very, very thick. Art is art. Design is design. The wishful thinking of some of the design world to call itself art, it's a wishful thinking. It's not. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a teacher, okay? Or you are a philosopher. You're a philosopher. You go to the art school. You choose whoever you want. Jeff Koons, Richter, Kabakov. No, you make the list of artists you want. You go into the class. They're all sitting there like you. You say, I am, what's your name? Mary. Say, hello, I'm Mary. I'm a philosopher. Now we're going to make chairs. They are all very happy. They go to the workshop. Koons make a super shiny chair. Richter makes a chair and go, and then etc. etc. Each one's going to make his chair, right? They're going to come back with their chair. Probably will be much more comfortable than all the chairs you see in Milan, because designers don't know how to make a chair. Not all of them. Some of them do, some of them don't, right? Anyone feels bad about this? How many of you were comfortable on the chair you sat on? Lift the hand. Okay, and this chair is done by, I don't know, hundreds of thousands It's a folding chair is great because it's so thin, right? But it's not so bad, but it's not necessarily very comfortable. Anyway, so it's another subject. So you go to the designer's class. You say, I'm Mary, I'm a philosopher. Now we're going to make a painting. And you turn and you go. And before you reach the door, they all go, Mary, hold on, Mary. How big? On what material? Is it oil? Is it acrylic? Is it water paint? Do we roll it? Do we fold it? They need a brief. The departure, the intellectual departure of the design process and the artistic process apart. Now, design for me is the sponsor. I love doing it because when I started to design, there were no computers. So if I needed to make a letter head, I had to draw it. If I made a logo, I had to draw everything. So I couldn't draw 500 of them. Now I go to my studio, say, okay, we have a project, we need to do a logo for blah, blah, blah. I come the day after, there's like 15,000 samples on the wall. I said, because it's so easy. A pixel to the left, a pixel to the right, this color, that color. No, 254,000 or a million of colors. And I said, okay, choose one. They can't. They can't choose. Because there's something that you do when you have the ability to design with all the strengths and thoughts and everything you learn, and you take your paper, your pencil, and you draw your logo in the right place on the paper, and this is where it should be. You do 5 of them, and you're done. Take a pack. You have homework now. Take Marie. Take a pack. Take a Post-it pack. Okay. Try. What do you do for a profession?
I do product design.
Oh, right on. Ladies and gentlemen, a product designer. I have another story. So you take a pack of Post-it tonight or tomorrow night or whatever, and you write your name on each one of them in a different place.
Okay.
Big or smaller, capital, not cap, bat cap, beep, what do you want? Thin pen, thick pen, and you put all of them and look. There'll be 1, maybe 2 that you specifically liked, and you don't know how to explain why, is you feel it. That's it. Now, for you, a special story that might interest all of you. You go to a dinner, right? You go to a dinner, and people that you don't know. So everybody asks you, what do you do? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. What do you do? Oh, I'm a lawyer. What do you do? Oh, I'm a banker. What do you do? I'm a quantum physics. Okay. What do you do? What do you do? And then you get, what do you do? I'm a designer. What do you do? I'm a designer. What do you design? Everything. What are you working on? I can't tell you. It's confidential. So, design today lost its focus. Before, when I studied design, it was industrial design, industrial design, graphic design, interface design, etc., etc. It was not design. It doesn't mean, because you know why it doesn't mean a lot? Because when you go to the supermarket, there's design toothpaste, and design shampoo, and design hairspray, and design croissant. What does it mean? It doesn't mean a lot. Industrial design means the profession of solving the industry problem in the benefit of the user and the benefit of the entire world, ecology, economy, etc., etc., etc. This is design. All the rest is something else, which is okay. It has the right to exist. But the same dinner, the last person, what do you do? Say, I'm an artist, and everybody goes, wow. Why? Why? Even you laugh. It's not because it's your job, because it's true. Why? Because the artist have total freedom at any given moment. The designer do not have a total freedom.
Okay, what about functional art?
Functional art, sculpture d'usage. So the world of industrial design that grew because Michelangelo, you know? Okay. Leonardo da Vinci, you know? What did Leonardo did? Leonardo was asked by the Pope, paint me. I want of myself. There were no photographers, right? So how can I exist without Leonardo painting me? So Leonardo was a photographer, right? And he was painting. Did a photorealistic, unbelievable, beautiful light, blah, 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 everything we want to say. Took the money. What did he do with the money? Build a machine gun, build a parachute, build a fountain, build a leverage crane, etc., etc. Leonardo's passion was engineering. And his design work or artistic work was the vehicle that permitted. Yes, God, I know. He's not happy. Leonardo is not happy now. Yeah, it's nuances. It's not all true or not true, but this is how things are. So design for me is really a sponsor. It's something I love do. I think I'm doing it not too bad, because I managed to do some bestsellers that permitted me to buy food for my kids and for myself.
You did a lot of bestsellers, in furniture and lighting.
Yeah, luckily. I always tell the editors, I say, every lamp you sell, I buy a free-grown bio-organic chicken for my kids. So this is, and it's true, and it's also because in the art, survive in the design world means you either work at somebody's office, or you work in an industrial design office, or within the industry at Renault, or whatever the example you want to give, and you find a job, or you're self-employed and you go hunting for a job. This is design. It's like being a baker, like doing with the different flowers and bubbles around it. The art is a much harder environment to survive. We're doing things which are non-existential. Without chairs, we fall to the floor. So we need chairs. Without forks, we cannot eat. We need forks, right? Etc. etc. Without a sculpture, we can eat and we can sit. So the people that buy art, I personally think that art is existential. And I guess the other artists also think that first it's existential for us when we are doing it, because otherwise it's going to really go crazy. Now I'm only half crazy. And the other thing is that it helps people to live. Beauty is a function, right? If something, look, you buy a chair, it costs you whatever. You can choose the chair you want. You sit on it every day, once a day or 3 times a day, maybe not even. You buy a painting, it looks at you, and you look at it hundreds of times a day. And there is a relationship. You see it at a friend's place, it sits in your mind. Say, I've seen it. Where did I see it? It was something in this painting. Who of you have bought art recently? Okay. How do you buy? You go to a gallery, you go to another, you see something, you say, I want this. You cannot justify this is something. I need to have this. You say, I must have it. And then you take it, you put your hand in the pocket, say 3,000 euro, which is a result of saving money for 6 months maybe, or 10 years, or 2 days, it depends on what you work, right? And you take the money and you put it in a thing that the only thing you do with it is it's on your wall and you have a conversation with it every day. Voila.
Thank you.
Thank you.